Hey, Flooring Pros. I'm Jerry Levinson, and this is the Flooring Business Podcast, where each week we talk to expert flooring dealers, suppliers, marketing experts, software experts, and anyone I believe who's going to help you in your flooring business. And my mission is to give you good information that's going to help you reach your goals. If you're starting your business out, or you're trying to reach $5 million in sales, or you're getting ready to sell your business, you're going to find useful information here that's going to help you reach your goals and profit now in the flooring industry. The Flooring Business Podcast is sponsored by Market Theory, and right now you can take advantage of the 30-90 guarantee. This is where we guarantee you'll get at least 30 in-home estimates in just 90 days. So to learn more about that, you can contact me at jerry@profitnowatjerry.com. So this week, my special guest, you're going to love this. It's Chris Ford, and Chris owns Lotus Tile.
Yes.
Correct. Lotus Tile, right?
Yep.
And that's in Denver, Colorado?
Yes. I'm
right.
Located in Denver now.
Tell us a little bit about that. How long have you been in the flooring business?
I've been doing tile for about 15 years now, and I focus solely on tile. So a little bit of that is flooring, a little bit showers, but tile is my main focus. So I've been doing that for about 15 years. I moved to Denver a little over 4 years ago, and that's when I started my own personal business. I had a business partner back in California. Things didn't go so well, so
yeah,
here I am.
Is this solely your business? Do you have any partners now?
No, I do not. It's
okay,
just
cool.
my business.
So I'm just going to randomly ask you some questions too about your business, because there's a lot of people like you that can learn from you. I'll get to the post in a minute, because Chris put up a post that just 110% goes right along with some of the things that I've been teaching in sales training, and Chris is actually doing it. So not, what I do, I teach something I believe is going to work. And I have salespeople as well that I train to do it this way, but you're actually doing what we talked about. So meanwhile, do you have any employees?
I have another installer working for me right now. His name is Joel. I think he's got about 5 years of experience. So I still do supervise quite a bit. I'm very particular about my standards, and I just want to make sure he's doing all of the work to my standards.
Okay, and are you doing the install as well? Are you on the job doing the installation?
I'm full-time installing currently.
Okay, so you're selling the jobs that you're installing, right?
Yes.
So let me ask you this, and this is an interesting thing. I've always been a retailer that I sell the material and the labor for the job. And when I'm selling the labor, I've got a wholesale cost that whatever my contractor is charging me, and I'm doing a markup or margin from there. And what I find is a lot of people in your position since you're doing the installs, you don't really have a wholesale cost that you consider. How do you figure out your margins, your markup, what you want to make from the labor end?
So on the labor end, I have decided on a day rate that I like for myself, and I base that off of what I need to make, cover my overhead, my insurance, profit, trying to put money away for retirement, all of those things, as well as how much would I like to profit at the end of it. So I charge a day rate, and then go ahead.
Well, in your post, one of the things you talk about, and again, we're going to get into this more, is about selling the results, the end results, what they're going to get, which is beautiful. Do you ever put a price on that as far as, maybe a square footage? This is what drives me crazy about backsplashes, right? There's just there's no square footage to them. So charging an amount per square foot just doesn't make any sense.
Absolutely.
And even a day rate and all that, I look at that and just automatically that's worth. I had one done not that long ago, and the guy I think charged us like $600. And when he was on the job. I scolded him for charging us way too little. So, and this is for a girlfriend of mine I was with at the time. And I was just flabbergasted that the guy who charged so little. And he's explaining, well, I'm new and all that. And I'm like, $1,200 in the blink of an eye. But, even more, I look at it, $1,500 minimum. That's without even looking at the job that I would think a backsplash in most cases would be worth.
Yeah. So for me, I've gotten pretty decent. I won't say I'm good or amazing, but pretty decent at analyzing the different details of the project and being able to tell, like, this area is going to be a pain in the ass. So, I need to charge a little more on top of my day rate. Or this one's going to be super easy. I'm going to make a killing with my day rate.
And when's the last time you may have tested your rates and said, I need to raise my prices? And
monthly, I go back over my numbers about once a month, especially lately with inflation and materials going up. I'd be crazy to not be looking at those numbers frequently. Maybe, for the listeners out there, you don't need to be as insane as I am and do it once a month, but you should be checking in on your numbers.
Oh, no, you should be. I mean, that's part of running the business. That's very smart of you. Most people don't do that. And it's not always easy, but definitely reviewing your numbers at least once a month and seeing where you're at and seeing where you could charge more. And it's not because you're trying to put more money in your pocket or line it. It really is worth it. I mean, and that's one thing. I don't do installations. So when I see you guys in the work that you do, it's worth a hell of a lot more than a lot of times you're either charging us as contractors or the customer. A little bit different when you're doing work for a retail store. That whole relationship and transaction is much, much different. But you're on the ground selling it. I really think it would be good if you guys could apply a wholesale rate to what you do. So what would it, and this is probably the best way to go about doing something like that. It's like, what would you pay somebody to do this work for you? What if you get injured and you can't do the work? Now you've got to hire somebody to do the work you do. So what would you pay that person? And then what's the margin on top of that? That's the wholesale cost, is whatever you would pay that contractor, an experienced person like yourself.
That's something I haven't thought about, but that is good advice to think about. I don't have a wholesale cost, and it's one area in my business maybe is lacking, that I don't have something like that.
Yeah, and that's common. A lot of people are like that. And here, especially, I look at something like what your post alluded to. You're good at selling. So if you're really good at selling, there's a lot of money in sales, a lot more than in doing the work. And you probably enjoy the work. I know you love doing it.
I do enjoy the work. And I have also managed a very large crew of people, and I hate that more than anything in the world.
Right.
I cannot stand it. The company I had with my ex-girlfriend back in California, at our largest, we had 15 people. So we were usually running anywhere from 6 to 8 crews, and I was off the tools, and it was just a lot of quality control. And I came from, an office background, a corporate background. So that's not really where I'd like to be at.
It's a different mindset. It really is. I mean,
it doesn't make me happy. I enjoy the couple of hours a week that I spend in the office for my business, but like I mentioned, I have to spend a lot of time keeping an eye on this other installer I have because of my standards. While I am selling, and the post, let me back up. That post that I made, I mentioned 100% close rate, and that's on a very specific set of jobs. I would say my average close rate is between 20 and 30% overall for all projects. So I really enjoy doing the artistic ones, and the installers I'd be hiring don't want to do those projects. So I don't know. Right now, I just feel like expanding and focusing more on sales isn't isn't exactly where I want my business to go.
Right. All right. Well, let's get into that a little bit. And thanks for giving me those numbers. And we find the average closing rate in our industry is about 50%. So, what you were saying, let's talk about this. I'm going to read this article that she wrote. Something I've learned in the last year, a great way to have almost 100% closing rate on certain jobs is tell the clients how excited you are about their tile selection. I've tried to mold my business to work with really fun, creative tiles and artistic clients. Something I've been learning is that if I tell people I'm really excited about their tile choice and their vision for the space, I win the contract 100% of the time. People are spending a lot of money to remodel their home. They're generally excited about the project, and whether they say it or not, they want to hire a contract that's equally excited about their project. Whether you are or you're not, just tell them you are.
Well, the
No,
last part was
you don't have to take that.
I try to be genuine.
We're riding. Yeah, right. No. Well, okay, let's talk about that for a second. So, and I got a little more to read, but the reason that you want to be genuine is so you're having fun, because this is fun.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, if you don't, that's the one thing I think a lot of people fail to do in our industry. You're doing cool stuff, and it's fun. I was a high purity pipe fitter working at Intel, and I'm walking through the fab, and this guy showing me some of the work he did, the welds he did. And he's like, God, check this out. Check this out. All right, they're freaking pipes. Who cares?
Yeah,
And meanwhile, I'm in a business, at that time I was hanging blinds. Well, listen, hanging blinds takes zero skill. A monkey could hang blinds. But to hear from a customer, oh my God, I think about you every time. Actually, I was doing upholstery too. And I upholstered this guy's truck seat. And we went into the break room. He says, man, every time I sit in that truck, I think of you. And that takes a little more skill, but still the appreciation we get for customers and what we're doing for customers, it makes an impact on them and their lives, versus something that may require a little more skill as pipe fitting, but it really is impactful. So why not take pride in it and have fun and enjoy what you're doing and share that with your customers and be excited for them like you are.
Yeah. I mean, when I got out of high school, all I wanted to do was get into the trades, and I was a 90-pound soaking wet female, and they're not like, people weren't looking for me to put a hammer in my hand. And I had an opportunity 15 years ago to get into the trades. And so I am just so excited to be here, because I've definitely seen it get easier for women, but it was hard for me to get where I'm at. And the things that I had to put up with on large job sites, it's not for the faint of heart. And so I am extremely excited to do what I do every day and to have the opportunity to do it. And I want to work with clients that want a contractor like that. Like, it's a symbiotic relationship. We're both excited, and
yeah,
I'm not gonna get my pricing out of a client that's just looking for someone who can slap some tile on the floor.
Right.
But someone who, has spent a fortune on their tile and has spent, 6 months to a year trying to select their tile and envision their space, and they're very excited, and so they want someone who's going to come in every day and be like, man, I can't wait to work today. And
so you can market yourself as, when it's tough to find the right guy for a job, hire a woman.
Like that.
So, okay. So she goes on Tuesday, I sent 6 estimates to people where in my initial email back to them, I told them how excited I was about their tile choices, because I am, and they're really cool tile selections. And today, every single one of them booked with me. 4 of them even told me that I was the highest estimate, but they really like my passion about their vision. So talk about that.
It's just pretty neat. That day I'd sent probably 11 or 12 estimates. I was trying to get everything cranked out before I went out of town. And, the other people got back to me and I was too high. They didn't want to hire me. But those were 6 people that had handmade tile or really cool mosaic. And my initial email, when it came through, I have my little blurb that I copy and paste, but then, I really looked at their tile or what they're doing. Like one woman is restoring her house back to like a 40s era tile, redoing the whole thing. So I told her, I'm really excited about what you're doing. I like doing restoration type work like that. And just being honest and being genuine and letting my excitement show through for what they're doing, it pays off, because those were the jobs I really, really wanted. And those are the jobs that I booked.
Well, it's fun. It's fun to decorate. It's fun to sell. It's fun to install.
Yeah.
And then the results afterwards. It's just, you're doing something you're enjoying doing it. So what was I trying to go with that? I liken this to when you get a brand new car. Everybody has experience buying a brand new car and getting in it, whether it's brand new or it's a used car, it's a new car to you. And you can't wait to get in that car and drive it, and you love the way it drives, you love the way it smells, you love the way it looks, and you're proud of it, and it's fun. Well, imagine somebody getting a kitchen remodel or bathroom remodel or getting new flooring every single day, getting out of bed. It's cool. And having parties and having people over, just coming home from work. It's impactful. And we ought to be selling that and be excited for them about getting that. And what our price is per square foot versus somebody else's is irrelevant. If you can sell that excitement versus the other person, that'll also give them more confidence in you, knowing that, hey, you've done this before, you know what you're doing, you know the results you want to get. And it really is that feeling that you have when that job is done. So when you say your closing rate isn't as good on just your average closing rate, those are people maybe getting multiple estimates. They're not going to maybe find a better price or get it done quicker or something like that.
Those clients are typically more concerned with speed. They want you in and out. They don't care about the lengths I'm going to take to waterproof a shower or, check the floor, repair the subfloor, things like that. Essentially, those aren't really my clients. I do book with them sometimes, but I love to go more the artistic route.
Have you developed any kind of process? You've got to be too busy to go give estimates to people like that.
So I rarely meet people in person. I don't even answer my phone. Honestly, I operate very unconventionally. So my outgoing message on my phone asks that people go to my website to fill out a form. Part of that is because my phone rings all day and I am on site installing, and I feel it's disrespectful to my current client to be answering the phone all day. If I had a contractor in my house and they were on the phone every 10 minutes, I'd be getting a little irritated personally. My personal time is also very valuable to me. So I don't want to come home in the evenings and spend another, 2 to 4 hours on the phone with people.
So you're designing the lifestyle that you want to have.
And that's why I'm self-employed, is to give me the life that I want.
And I always advise people that are in your position that want to grow their business. The very first person you hire is that secretary, that person to answer the phone, that can schedule the appointments, that can make repairs or schedule the install or do all those things, because not only is it time consuming and difficult, it's mentally exhausting.
It is.
When you're driving and you answer the phone, oh my God.
I'm hard of hearing. Hard to believe in our industry. So talking on the phone in the car is really difficult for me. It is hard in general to talk on the phone. So I prefer everything in writing. And that's also some left over from the corporate world. You want everything in writing. So you can say that as per my email.
Okay. Well, and that's, so you've developed a process for them to go by where you can
Yeah,
vet
so
them out.
the outgoing voicemail message requests that they go to my website, fill out this form, and then that captures everything I need. And it kind of helps pre-qualify them, because one of the questions is, how soon are you looking to have your project done? So I can email them right away if they're like, I need it done next week and I'm booked out 9 months. I just send an email back real quick and say, this is my availability. So it helps weed out some people. But from there, I request photos to kind of give a rough estimate. And I have molded my business to try to focus on smaller projects. Back in California, we were working on jobs where we were on site for 3 years, a year.
Oh, wow.
Insane projects. I've found that I get a little squirrely after 2 weeks. So I kind of want to be in and out. So that also helps, just knowing what size the project is, if I want to do it. Then having them some photos, those smaller projects, a backsplash. If you can't accurately quote a backsplash at 15 years in the industry based on photos, you might want to find a new industry or new job.
Right. Again, how accurate do you have to be and dial that in? It's just,
all I'm going to do if I go for an in-person consultation on a project like that is take pictures and go home and look at the pictures. So I've also found that a lot of my clientele is younger and very tech savvy and busy. And so they love the way that I operate, that I can do everything through email. I send them a quote. If it's, a bathroom remodel, a big shower, once we get to more of the contract part, I'll go over and meet with them to make sure I haven't missed any details, because that's a little too large to just be like, yeah, sure, here's a price, sign a contract. But my clients, they really like the way that I operate. It saves them time. They're signing contracts online. We're using Zelle for deposits and payments. Everything is pretty quick and streamlined.
if there was anything right now, the way your business is set up, it sounds like you really are enjoying everything you're doing the way you're doing it. What is the one thing you would like to change? Is there anything that you would like to change in the way you operate in your business?
Oh, I'm sure there is, if I sat down and really thought about it. I'm not.
I do consulting for flooring dealers, and if somebody doesn't want to grow their business, that's fine. If you're fine where you're at, you're fine where you're at. If you don't have a desire to hire people or do more marketing and all that, that's fine. That's perfect. I'm not looking to help somebody that doesn't want to be helped with their business and grow it. So well, you don't have an answer. Well, nothing wrong with being happy where you're at and what you're doing,
Tile right now, it's not my end game. I have some other irons in the fire that I think will be, more longer term. My body's wearing down. I don't think I have too much time left doing this.
Yeah.
I just had an apprentice that was hands down the best apprentice I'd ever had. She was incredible for 9 months. And then after all of that time and money I invested in her, she quit out of the blue. One day, just done. I'm not coming back. And I've trained probably over 200 apprentices with my company in California, and then about 5 here. And I'm just at a point where I don't have it in me anymore to invest that much time and money into someone. So Lotus will probably be around for 5 more years, maybe.
I know people that I've got friends, mastermind group and all that they don't like having employees. I mean, they just absolutely hate it. They hate managing other people and dealing with other people.
Mm-hmm.
I love employees because I hate doing everything myself. And I'm even in that position. I'm in that position with my consulting business and the marketing I sell. I do Floor Zap. There's various things I'm doing, but I don't have employees. Now I have my own flooring business that I sold. Mm-hmm. And when I had that business, I didn't hardly do anything. I was running the show handling the marketing and sales training and things like that. So
Mhm.
it's always funny when somebody, and we're different. We got to do what works best for us. So
Some people have the dream and vision of building that empire, and I had that at one point, but I'm just kind of burnt out on training people.
So you did have a post not that long ago, February 8th, about 6 months ago, where you did have the apprentice.
Yep.
That's who you're talking about. And
How amazing she was.
yeah. So, and you said, okay, let's talk about this and debate this a little bit. You said the way to keep them around is to pay them well. I actually disagree with that.
I do now as well. I have learned my lesson, and I wish all of the old timers that tried to tell me it's not going to work out, I wish I would have listened, but.
Well, that's okay. I mean, the fact that it didn't work out, to me, there's always been a saying, can you imagine if you train an employee and they leave you? Or what's worse, what if you don't train them and they stay? So, and that's part of business, is not getting hurt about that and understanding and creating positions, systems and processes so that person is replaceable. One of the things I wanted in my business, I had 4 or 5 people working for me. And one thing I thought, there is nobody that can quit and that's going to hurt me. We've got the processes and the systems, and I can replace anybody in this company. I love them. I value them. Great employees. But the fact is, if they got hurt, injured, or left, I could replace them. It hurts for a little bit, but I don't think you want to be reliable so much on one person, because that really can hurt you. It's kind of, a matter of the business that you're in, that you really only have 1 or 2 at most working for you. So if that one person does leave, it does hurt.
Though that was the issue, is I've taken a pay cut, the last 9 months to try to get her up to speed. And, now it was for nothing. And
we have a belief that pay is valued. And here's the problem. If somebody is working for a good paycheck, then they could leave you easily for a better paycheck.
Very
and
true.
That's why culture is so important, and that skill that they're learning, and the fact that they're enjoying the job, and like who they're working for. We are implementing a program in Floors app called Pride and Proof. And it's where the installer, because a lot of our installers are subcontractors, they take pictures of the job before they start it and pictures after. And what that does is it enables the installer, what they do is they take a lot more pride in the work that they're doing, and they're more part of the process of making that customer happy, of generating the 5-star review. So it's not about doing the install. It's about, calling up and showing on time. It's about being professional on the job site, keeping it clean, and then also taking pride in what you do and enjoying it. Because I think if an installer loves working for you, they're gonna stay there. They're not gonna look for other companies to look for, versus, if they're there because of the pay, well, they might get better pay. But asked in a survey, everybody says it's the pay. That's the number one thing. But we've gone to installers that, we're not getting paid near as well, but they wouldn't come to work for us because the company they were working for kept them busy. So a lot of the subcontractors, the number one thing was to be kept busy. The number 2 thing was to have all the materials on the job site they needed. That was very frustrating for a lot of installers, is not having clear instructions and not having the materials that's needed.
Yeah, showing up to work and being like, what the hell? That's how things ran. My company in California, I was brought on as a very small part owner because my girlfriend owned it. She was the primary owner, and that company was a shit show. I would show up to work, or I'd show up to a job site to check on people, and they'd be like, where the hell is our thin set? I'm like, oh, well, let me run to the store. So they're not getting started till like 10. They're frustrated. we're frustrated.
Yeah.
I didn't have as much control as I would have liked, and it was frustrating on my end as well. But absolutely everything you just said, like materials weren't on site, they didn't have clear instructions. One of my ex's things she used to like to tell people was, I don't know, there must be a solution, figure it out. And like, as someone working for us, they are asking us for help and direction right now, and that's what we need to give them. And so we couldn't keep people. There was a myriad of reasons why we did not keep people, but what you just mentioned is a big one.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Chris, I get a lot of people reach out to me that are managers or really good salespeople, and they have more of a desire to grow the business than the owner. And it's very difficult for them to change things or have an impact when the owner's not as interested, because they want to provide a good customer experience. They got more passion and desire to. I've stolen those people before too. It's like, hey,
poached them.
Why don't you just come out here and work for me?
Yeah.
So
nice.
But it's fascinating. Somebody that really has a desire to grow. Yeah. There's a lot of flooring stores too right now that are looking for good talent. So if you're good talent and you're frustrated with the ownership, you're
gonna go somewhere else.
Can't get, yeah. That's what it's like too. So how are you generating leads now?
Basically word of mouth. People just Google tile installation in my area, and my Google page organically comes up at the top.
Really?
I don't pay for advertising. My very first 8 months in business, I was using Thumbtack, because you can kind of see the lead and you can bid on it. And
yeah.
Those clients I found were awful, but
yeah.
build my reputation. It helped me build my reputation.
Thumbtack's the only one that makes Home Advisor look good. That's hard to do.
They've gotten much worse. Also, I'm thankful that they were a little better when I was starting my business, because they really did help me. I don't know how I would have found leads, because at the time, I moved to Colorado with about $2,000 in my, and was living in my friend's basement, and said, F it, I'm going to start a business, and sunk everything into that. And if I was trying to pay for Google ads, that would have been all my savings. And maybe people would have hired me. I don't know.
I believe that tile is probably the easiest of them. For some reason, it's so competitive. And of all the flooring, it should be the most expensive to install. It's the most complicated.
Yeah.
And if people, I wouldn't recommend this for you necessarily, because I think all the processes you have in place are already fantastic. So the way you sell, but if I was selling tile, we didn't sell tile because it was too complicated to do. They got to see the cake being baked. So the customer experience was horrible. But how you sell tile, how you show people how it's installed, and laying down the proper expectations, and then making them afraid to not hire you. And it's not by bad mouthing anybody else. You just show them your process, and it's so clear and good that they want you, they trust you. And the other person might be quite a bit less expensive, but man, I don't know. I trust them.
Yeah. Like, if you're looking at two different estimates, and one just says install tile flooring, and then you have another one that's very detailed.
Yeah.
And kind of shows that you know what you're doing.
So do you detail the estimate in that? Are you line item quoting it, or do you just give them all the details of the project?
Like one block with bullet points. So it's sort of line items, but there's one price for the whole project, from demo to grout. There's one price. I don't break it down, because then people want to cherry pick. They want to be like, well, what if I do the demo? Then you can take this off. And no, this is what you're hiring me for.
Yeah.
But I do explain it, like, we use a backsplash for an example, just because it's small. come in, demo tile and substrate down to the studs, dispose of debris on site with a Bagster dumpster bag. Install drywall, tape and mud seams, install tile, grout, apply caulking to plane changes. It gets sort of written out. I don't explain like every product that I'm using, but I have gotten feedback from clients that they felt more comfortable with me, even though my price was 2 to 3 times higher than the other people they were speaking with, because I did list my process and they felt confident that I knew what I was doing versus the person who just said like tile / install X amount of dollars. They're like, well, what does that entail? What materials are you including? Do I have to buy the grout? I have a little bit more detail in mind than some people.
I mean, there's so many details to it. To me, it would be very easy to create a kick-ass sales presentation. And I've done this for people before and with them to create that, because I would talk about what materials I'm using, not in so much detail because it's not important, but it's kind of like, with this kind of grout, you get an even look throughout. Because, most times the way the process of the grout is done, it doesn't look even. They start here and it's not the same color by the time they get to this part of the room, and you can tell. So I don't have that problem. There's just certain things, and you don't have to explain what type of grout or why, but just that is enough to say, okay, well, I don't want that. The way you make cuts around the walls and things like that. So the problems you avoid by the way you cut the tile, I always like to give a name to my process or whatever, just to make it sound really thought through, that it's impressive. And then it's on a piece of paper that I give them as part of the presentation. And the nice thing about that is, anyone can sell that because you just give them the presentation. And for people like you, it's always, you give them the owner's promise guarantee. If there's a problem, I've got the skills. And that's, if you're still in the tile business, but you own the store, but you're not doing the work, then you're going to offer the owner's promise guarantee, because if there is a problem, you can personally go out there and fix it. And that's huge. That's not other companies aren't going to be able to offer that.
Yeah.
The nice thing is you've got so many good skills in place. So, God forbid you do get injured or you're not able to do the installs, you won't have any problem running your own business. You'll be frustrating to hire installers that won't do as good a job as you do, but
it can be done. I have thought, especially recently, like really thinking about my past lives and the different jobs that I had, and how virtually every single one of them prepared me for running my own business like this. And I have peers that I try to help with various aspects, like building a website and getting a Google page going, like simple stuff. Well, it was simple for me. I'm sorry. It was simple for me because I have a background in that, but it was just killing these buddies of mine. They're like, I cannot figure out how to do this, and I don't have the patience for it. So they would have to pay someone, or people like that have to pay someone else, whereas I can do a lot of aspects of running the business by myself.
And you said you do like tile showers is one of your specialties, right?
I would prefer not to. I'm getting old.
What is the work you like to do? What do you?
I really like to focus on small stuff. So like flooring, no more than 200 square feet, backsplashes, fireplaces, accent walls. I prefer that because it allows me to work alone and it allows me to stay small. I'm making all the money I need to make in a week in 3 days. And then I can have 2 days to clean and organize tools, do admin work, or just sit on my ass and do nothing if that's what I need to do. So again, like we talked about earlier, I've tried to mold my business to give me the life that I want. The way I look at it is I try to make my company work for me and not the other way around.
So going in that direction, let me ask you this: how tall are you?
5'4".
5'4". So our slogan is that we're a small family-owned business. No one over 5'6".
I'm gonna steal that.
So you can do something like that.
I keep trying to get my brother to come out and work with me because I would love to be able to say that, like, family owned and operated. And I think he would be amazing at tile. But
You can still say that. You don't have to have family. Small family-owned business. If you wanted to attract those type of customers, there are customers that want to hire a family-owned business. You don't have to get to details of your lineage. I mean, and most of the people that work for me weren't family. And there's a lot of people that work for us that were over 5'6", and they all had the saying on the back of their shirt, and customers would give them a hard time, but it just endeared them more to the customer.
That is hilarious. I love it. I love that.
So yeah, we also did free snow shoveling in Arizona. So.
I love that. Well, you still up in like by the Grand Canyon area.
Not in Metro Phoenix, you don't. And that's where. So
you know what? When I first got into construction, I can't remember the exact neighborhood, but we were in Metro Phoenix and we remodeled a house in August. And yeah, monsoon season.
That's fun though. If anybody ever called us and asked us to shovel their sidewalks, that was a sold deal. If they call us with a smart aleck remark, it's like they already like us, they already trust us. We're done. We even had 2 doors where you go in one door that's for people over 5'6", and this door for people under 5'6". So you see the husband and wife go in different doors, and like I said, for you, the marketing juices get flowing for me in that I would make fun of the fact that, it's hard to find a good guy to do this work. That's why you should hire a woman,
Hire a woman. Love it.
But there's no reason that you wouldn't have a really good running business and do whatever you want to do, because you know how to sell and you have fun doing it. So, yeah, and you can choose whether you want to deal with employees or subcontractors or say, I don't care to do that. No, I love the way you created your own schedule. It's good information for a lot of people. And, I don't like small jobs. And it's very interesting that's what you're trying to attract is the smaller projects that you can get in and get out. And
I started noticing in the beginning, I moved here, I was working alone, and I had come from a place where I had, at the time, I think we had 8 people working for us. So we had 4 crews. And so I always had help. And when I left the company and moved here, I was like, shit, I can't take on jobs like that. I'm barely charging enough to keep myself afloat. I can't hire any help. So I'll just go after these little jobs. And I started noticing that the clients were really happy because they're like, you're the only person that answered the phone about my 20 square foot backsplash. Everyone else blew me off because a lot of people don't want those projects. Would rather be on a job site and have that security for several months and know those bigger checks are coming in. And
what do you charge roughly for a backsplash?
My backsplashes right now start at $1,800.
Oh, nice.
Minimum.
Very good.
And then it goes up from there depending on different variables. But that was the first thing I started noticing. And I was like, oh, well, people can't find anyone else to do this work, or people that are happy about doing it. And this is what I want to do. So I'm showing genuine enthusiasm. And it's just kept rolling. In the beginning, I got a couple cool like cement tile jobs. And as the portfolio grows, now people are seeking me out for that.
And it's such a big difference too, the way it makes your kitchen look. It's just the transformation is amazing.
People, they want someone who's gonna not just be like, oh, I'll fit you in between my 2 6-month-long jobs and keep bumping them around. My schedule, I'm booked out about 9 months right now.
Wow.
I very rarely run over schedule where I have to bump clients back. Like
Really?
I follow up with a client that I haven't talked to in 6 months and tell them we're good to go next week. And they're like, holy shit, are you serious? And because of focusing on those little projects, I have a lot more control over the variables and the things that are going to go wrong. Like,
Yeah.
on a fireplace,
So when you sell a job and put them in your schedule, are you taking any kind of deposit?
yeah, so they don't get an official date on my calendar until I get a signed deposit and a signed contract and a 10% deposit. I feel 10%
Yeah.
is
And that's non-refundable, right? Or
it's non-refundable, but they have a little skin in the game, so they're less likely to blow me off.
yeah.
And it also isn't a number that's terrifying to them. It's not like, oh, I'm going to give you 50% up front, and then maybe I'll hear from you in 6 months.
Right.
That's a little unsettling.
Yeah. You got it in a CD account earning 2% interest a year, and your money is well protected. That would be kind of funny to say. You buy government bonds and you're fine.
Okay.
So I'll return you 20 cents more than you gave me after if I can't do your project for some reason. All right, Chris. Well, I appreciate it. It was a good interview. And again, just you guys, sell the dream, sell it, sell how it's done. And there's no reason not to be genuine and have fun. And, I mean, for both, if you're a salesperson, absolutely, you should be doing that. If you're the contractor doing the work, aren't you having fun doing what you're doing? Don't you love seeing the finished project? I mean, express that to the customer and show them how good this is going to look and how they're going to feel waking up every day or coming home every day to this amazing space that they just remodeled. So do you ever get calls afterwards saying, hey, I want to say again, I love this thing that you did.
Several of my clients and I still text, and they'll tell me, like, sometimes it's a little creepy when they tell me they think about me when they're in their bathroom all the time.
Right.
I'm like, weird. But yeah, people tell me we just, had a barbecue and people loved the fireplace, or, I just had guests in town. They loved the bathroom that you did.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's exciting. That's fun.
And the best feedback is when they take the time to go write a review. I do hound them a little bit with links, since that is how I find work, but it always means a lot when they do actually take the time to put that on the internet, help me find more work.
All right. Good job, Chris. Well, thank you for doing this interview. I'm going to wrap this thing up. All right, guys, thanks for joining the Flooring Business Podcast. And if you'd like to have a discovery call for your flooring business, where we can review where you're at and how you can increase sales and profits by over 30%, contact me at jerry@profitnowatjerry.com for more information. And you guys have a great, profitable week.
Awesome.